So, up next, moving on to inheritance. So, this post was actually posted in the subreddit Legal Advice, which is a really, really cool subreddit if you ever want to get like trapped in the weeds of like law and stuff like that.
Always, every day.
Yeah, it's good. So, they put that they're in California, and it goes, grandmother gave my brother and me an equal share portfolio in the late 90s when we were kids. Brother sold his when they were worth a car. I left mine, and now they're a substantial amount. Brother and his girlfriend want my half now. When my brother was 16 and I was 4, my grandmother set aside a share portfolio for us. As soon as we were old enough, it was transferred into our own accounts, and it was only 4 years later that my brother dipped heavily into his and bought a new Honda. I knew about mine for much longer than he did before it became mine and watched it grow since I understood what it was. By the time I was given full control, it was already worth a ridiculous amount because a portion of it was invested in Apple.
Wow.
And I'm torn on using the funds locked up as they are because Dad drilled it into me to leave it to grow until I'm 40-something. I don't talk much with my brother. He's done some stupid things to the family over the years, and I didn't really grow up with him, so all I usually hear about his life comes through my dad. His new girlfriend works in law, though, and I've received a formal letter from both that the investments my grandmother made were designed to be for both of us to use, not just for me alone. And his was only around $15,000. The number is right, but mine was only worth that at the time. He spent it too. They want half of the value of mine now, and his girlfriend has informed me if I don't give them access, then the legal fees and fines would eat up my half and I'd be left with nothing.
What a bitch!
The dividends alone support a huge part of my life, and they've saved me multiple times. If half of that disappeared, it'd set me back years. I know it sounds selfish, but I'm really used to having the extra income back me when I've wanted to move. I've lived in 4 states by my own choice, and I want to move and take in more before I settle down, if I ever do. How likely is it they'll win and leave me with nothing? As far as I know, there was no paperwork or will, just my grandmother's word. She set up my brother's accounts when he turned 19, but she gave them to my dad at the same time as my brother got his, and Dad transferred the whole lot to me 6 years ago. For my share, I have all the logins, the trading accounts, and bank accounts are in my name, and the shares are all solely in my name too. Should I find my own lawyer? And if I need one, what kind do I need? I have an accountant I've used for years, but this doesn't seem like an accounts problem, but a law one.
Wow, that's so frustrating because it really sucks how it works like that these legal fees to protect yourself really fuck you.
Yeah.
But I don't know, what do you think?
Lawyer, ASAP.
Yeah, but what do you think about this situation?
They're not entitled to anything. They're blowing smoke up her ass.
So then how do you think that they're going to even be able to, like, why would she even need a lawyer? Because aren't they just kind of full of shit? I mean, if he was given the $15K and she was given the $15K and she just made something of it and he didn't.
That's on him.
Yeah.
He chose to cash out.
Yeah.
He could have sat on it, but he had a spending, he was irresponsible as a young guy that saw $15K and it flashed in his eyes new car.
But that was the deal. So then how could they even, do they have anything
No.
that they could run with? So does she even need a lawyer?
There's an update on this.
Okay.
So top comment, okay, I'm a California lawyer. Here's my take on it solely from your facts. Grandmother set up a trust with your dad as trustee. Father as trustee distributes title to both of you when you each reach a certain age. The trust and purpose of the trust your grandmother set up is now dissolved. Once you have received control title of your money, the trust was gone, and the purpose for which grandmother set it up is complete. Whatever each of you did was each your responsibility. If he had taken the money out and won the lottery, he wouldn't have raced over and given you half of the proceeds, right?
Yeah.
Lastly, you have a statute of limitations defense. You are both in your mid-20s or older. I assume you are both in your 30s. Your brother likely missed any chance to sue you for damages. Really, lastly, I'm not even sure what he can sue you for. There is no longer a trust. Sleep well. He cannot take your share.
Woo!
They're bluffing. I work in probate, and what they're trying to do is scare you into settling,
Yeah.
even though you don't owe him a penny.
Yeah, of course. That's why I was saying that's bullshit, because she's just like handed over. Otherwise, the legal fees are going to fuck you.
Yeah.
She is awful.
P.S. Great job keeping the portfolio. I wish I had your dad's wisdom. when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. I wonder how much it is. She doesn't say though, right?
I mean, if it was
An apple. That's
they
good call to keep it in there.
never mention ages, but if she got it when she was 4, like I'm just picturing if they are close to 30, like Apple, if you bought Apple 26 years ago,
Yeah.
you're sitting on a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Shit ton. Because not only like the shares were less than, they've now been split.
Yep.
Like Apple price, just
Mm-hmm.
stock market shit is insane to me. I want to like take a class on it.
Me too.
So for the update, good news update. And then they repeat the title. I worked with my dad and got my own lawyer. I got the timeline of my shares wrong, but it comes out the same. What my brother and I inherited from my grandmother was originally part of my grandfather's portfolio. He was the money savvy one. My grandmother looked after those after he died, and she personally set up my brother's accounts and gave him control of his part. She didn't do the same with mine before she died. I thought she had already set up the accounts for me and given control to my dad before passing. Instead, the shares were in her will, and she left everything she owned to my dad with instruction that what was $15,000 worth when my brother got his equivalent part would go to me when I was old enough to know how to take care of them. There was no trust. She just trusted my dad. My dad did the right thing and set up the accounts for me and gave me control 6 years ago. My dad put some of his own shares in too as an extra leg up.
Wow.
That could have gone so fucking bad if the dad was greedy or bad with money.
Yeah.
So bad. So amazing, amazing, amazing. Dad admitted to me he'd chewed out my brother last year when he came to him asking for money, and Dad had supported him several times over the years and got to the point he'd had enough.
Wow.
My brother found out I still had my investments because Dad had used me as an example of how brother should have been using money. That's how my brother found out I still had shares and they'd grown.
Watch it wasn't even, he doesn't even have a girlfriend. He wrote that himself and pretended that it was his lawyer girlfriend.
There's a twist.
Well, really?
You're kind of close. According to all that info, my lawyer tells me I'm in the clear. But it's not going to get to the point of finding that out in court, as my brother's girlfriend was only a legal secretary.
Oh, okay.
I say was because the firm she worked for apologized and informed my lawyer she was terminated immediately. The letter I received from them had been edited to put her name in a position higher up than it should have been, and some of the contact information had been changed.
You're kidding me. Wow.
Blowing smoke up her ass.
They're perfect for each other. They're both shady and they're shady.
Super sus.
Super perfect for each other.
Con artists.
Yeah.
Little scammers.
Speaking of scammers, this is off topic, but did you know that people can buy fake Vax cards now?
Yeah, it's a criminal felony.
Oh, I was wondering. I didn't hear any of that part, but I was like,
If you know anyone with a fake vaccination card, report them to the FBI.
it's literally like,
And if you have one, you better burn it.
it's like being 18 all over again.
I know, fake ID.
Yeah.
God. It's crazy too, because if you get caught with a fake vaccine card, it's a felony. So you can no longer vote. You can no longer own a gun. You can no longer work for any government agency.
Wow.
There's so much shit. So if you have one, throw it away. A week after she was fired, my brother visited me begging for money. His girlfriend is in serious debt, and she took a chance on scamming cash from me and lost. I felt awful rejecting my own brother over and over, and if he hadn't involved his girlfriend needing an amount well into 5 figures, I might have given him some. The next morning, I found all my tires had been slashed. Screw him. I don't feel bad anymore.
Wow. Okay. So how does he know where she lives?
Family.
Okay. I guess that was a dumb question.
You know where your brother lives.
Why did I ask that? I honestly, I just like am thinking about him as such a creep that
I know. Well, they don't talk much either by the sounds of what OP said. Like she only hears about him really in passing from her dad. So it's not, a completely illogical question.
Yeah, I would move and I would change my name. I just think relatives like that, that's scary.
Yeah. The rest of the comments in the previous thread made me realize I don't know nearly enough about what I'm doing with the shares and dividends and money in general. A lot of the decisions I've made have been with my dad's help, and his advice has paid off well so far. But not because I knew it would, but because I had no idea what I was doing and left it up to him. I've booked in to work with a financial advisor to make the most of what I have. Thanks for all your comments. So very happy ending.
Yeah.